Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers urged to pursue big play WR on trade market. The Pittsburgh Steelers already traded for receiver DK Metcalf, who has posted 4 NFL seasons with a yards per catch average above 15. In 2023, Metcalf averaged a career-best 16.9 yards per reception. On Monday, though, Steelers Depot's Alex Kozora encouraged Pittsburgh to acquire another big play receiver, Indianapolis Colts' Alec Pierce. The 25-year-old led the NFL with 22.3 yards per reception last season. Pierce has size and playmaking ability as an outside threat the Steelers are searching for to replace Pickens. Pierce certainly doesn't win in the same way, but he has a similar impact, Kozora wrote. If the Colts like the other young receivers they have, if guys like Josh Downs and especially A.D. Mitchell develop, Pierce could become expendable. On the last year of his rookie deal, his price tag shouldn't be costly, and Pittsburgh could get back a 2027 comp pick even if Pierce leaves in free agency after the season. Pierce has averaged 17.6 yards per catch in his career. In all 3 of his seasons with the Colts, he posted more than 14 yards per reception. Last season was also the first time Pierce scored more than 2 touchdowns. He registered 7, including 3 in his final 4 games. With George Pickens traded to the Dallas Cowboys, the Steelers are back down to one reliable outside receiver on their roster. Pittsburgh added veteran Robert Woods late in NFL free agency, but Woods had just 203 receiving yards last season. Pundits were excited to see what Metcalf and Pickens could do together. Both are big receivers who make plays down the field. But the Steelers traded Pickens before the pair played together. As Kozora explained, Pierce isn't the same type of big play threat as Pickens. But he produces down the field, which could be lethal playing opposite Metcalf. Pierce is arguably a better receiver to pair with Metcalf too because he clearly fits a number 2 wideout role. Pickens would be more of a 1B option with Metcalf as 1A if both were still in Pittsburgh. That's key because the Steelers could be a run-first offense again in 2025. Pierce is a receiver who can make plays without high degrees of volume, Kozora wrote. That's valuable in an Arthur Smith offense that figures to not feature him heavily as DK Metcalf and Pat Freiermuth soak up targets. Pierce has a catch rate of just under 50% in his NFL career. He's also never had more than 80 targets in a season. Yet, he's produced 3 500-yard receiving campaigns because of his high yards per catch average. If the Steelers could land Pierce for an affordable draft pick as Kozora suggested, he's practically a no-brainer addition. Steelers WR depth entering 2025 offseason workouts. If the Steelers don't add another receiver such as Pierce, they will be counting on Woods, along with 2 other younger wideouts, to replace Pickens. Calvin Austin III emerged as a quality target in the Steelers' offense last season. He's mostly played in the slot throughout his career, but Austin may be a candidate to play more outside without Pickens. 2024 third-round pick Roman Wilson could then play in the slot. Wilson only appeared in 1 game as a rookie last season because of injuries. The Steelers also have receiver Scott Miller, Ben Skowronek, Brandon Johnson, Lance McCutcheon, Rock Taylor and Kushawn Williams on their offseason roster. Will Howard just made it clear Aaron Rodgers is the mentor he's always wanted. Seemingly, everyone is waiting on Aaron Rodgers to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, including Will Howard, the quarterback Pittsburgh drafted in 2025. Howard recently sat down with Kay Adams at the NFL premiere, and of course, Rodgers came up during the conversation. The rookie quarterback made it clear he wouldn't mind playing with the future Hall of Famer at all. After Howard talked about his admiration for Ben Roethlisberger, Adams asked the young quarterback if Rodgers was also someone he looked up to. Howard quickly responded that he idolized Rodgers, and went on to add that he has no idea if they'll be teammates, but he'd love to be in a room with the veteran quarterback and learn from him. A lot of Steelers fans are certainly hoping that Howard gets his wish, because if not, the quarterback room in Pittsburgh will be a massive concern. In addition to Howard, who was selected in the 6th round of the draft, the Steelers also have Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. Howard is an unknown as a late-round rookie, and Rudolph and Thompson aren't starting-caliber quarterbacks. That means Pittsburgh's best hope at the quarterback position is a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Not only are the Steelers hoping he wants to continue playing, and for them, the franchise is hoping he can still play at an elite level. Rodgers played solid football during the end of last season with the New York Jets, and that's what Pittsburgh will be looking for. The best-case scenario for the Steelers would be Rodgers coming to town, helping the team contend this season, and Will Howard ultimately developing into a franchise quarterback. That would solve the team's immediate quarterback issue and also provide a long-term solution. Saints-Steelers Chris Olave trade rumor gets updated prediction from NFL writer. Reasonable minds can disagree about whether or not the New Orleans Saints should trade wide receiver Chris Olave. Olave, who is still just 24 years old, has proven to be terrific when healthy. He put up 2,165 receiving yards over 31 games in his first 2 NFL seasons. But he missed the Saints' last 8 contests with a concussion, which has become a long-term concern, and he's only under contract through 2026. Though the Saints have appeared reluctant all along to trade Olave, as made evident by their decision to pick up his 5th-year option, a top-rumored suitor has nonetheless emerged in the Pittsburgh Steelers. The rumor spread last week when 93.7 The Fan's Adam Crowley reported that the Steelers had interest in acquiring Olave. Other reports have disputed the notion, while there's been no indication that the Saints share the interest. On Tuesday, Bleacher Report's Brent Sableski wrote that he was selling the idea of Olave being traded to the Steelers, which is exciting news for Saints fans who aren't ready to get rid of the team's only high-caliber passing game weapon. This particular scuttlebutt doesn't appear to have much traction. Of course, Pittsburgh should be interested in acquiring a player of Olave's caliber, especially after the organization traded George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys, Sableski wrote. The Steelers are still in need of a legitimate WR2 to play alongside DK Metcalf, whom the organization acquired earlier in the offseason. However, a deal doesn't make a ton of sense from the Saints' perspective. If there's anything that's true regardless of which side of the aisle you fall on, it's that the Saints should listen to offers in case the Steelers offer a drastic overpay. But if we're living in the most likely scenario, it's Olave lining up outside in New Orleans for at least the first half of the season.